The last 2 decades where people have sent their kids off to school and the kids haven't come back. And frankly, it's happened too much. No one should ever have to worry about that when they send their kids to school.
Those thoughts were expressed by many at the prayer vigil put on by Carmel United Methodist Wednesday night for the victims of the Texas school shooting. Although a city councilman, Adam Ossen was there too as a parent, urging the community at large to take action.
I know we keep saying never again, but we just really have to make sure that as a community we come together and come up with a plan and take action on what needs to be done to make sure we can finally address this.
The church laid out this note people could take and share with lawmakers who they say need to take action, any sort of steps to try and prevent tragedies like what happened in Texas from happening again.
Just praying that they would be safe is something that parents have to think about on a regular basis. Are my children going to be safe?
That's what Jessica Stevens, one of the church's ministers, says was going through her mind when she sent her kids off to school for their last day. Despite her worries, she says the Carmel Clay School District does give her some peace of mind.
Every time I go in, they know me, but they still have to buzz me in. They still check my ID.
But she knows schools can only do so much. She hopes state and federal leaders see the anguish and pain shootings like this cause and decide to do something. Cornelius Hawker, WRTV.
Well, the concerns voiced by parents have us asking what's being done locally to ensure the safety of your kids when they go to school. Cameras, school resource officers, and locked entrances are just a few of the protective measures in place at Central Indiana schools. Officer Richard Craig, the lead resource officer for Avon Schools, says he takes his job seriously. He says he knows parents rely on schools to keep their kids safe while they're in the classroom.
You have to be willing to put your safety in front of others, especially when it pertains to students and kids.
At Wayne Township schools, they also have protective film on all the windows so people can't see inside. Both districts say they follow their school safety plan, and it is their top priority.
What was supposed to be a discussion tonight with community leaders about gun violence in Indianapolis found a new meaning in response to the horrific mass shooting in Texas. WRTV's Amber Grickley was at that forum tonight as leaders and a council member discussed solutions.
Yeah, like the second you go into a rabbit hole of any of the dark topics, they only get worse. Like, you can't find any good out of it.
15-year-old Zion Robinson explains how some of his peers are dealing with violence in their community and across the country.
I feel fine, but the problem is almost like my friends, like a lot of my friends are slowly becoming suicidal, or they were, and they're like slowly going back into it. Like, the more you see things like shootings that keep happening.
What would cause somebody to go into a school and shoot 18 defenseless children? That's not mental, that's demonic.
Pastor Kenneth Sullivan Jr. is an avid leader in the community looking for ways to bring change and stop the violence.
There's a silver lining behind the dark cloud that we've seen with gun violence nationally and even here locally. And so we're doing some things to really push back the darkness and just really give people perspective and give them some hope.
Wednesday, Pastor Sullivan held a violence prevention and intervention forum. Now, it was originally in response to gun violence right here in the Circle City. After the tragedy in Texas, Sullivan says this forum is more pressing than ever.
And we have to just stop and say, okay, where can we find common ground and where can we work together to make a difference?
Councilwoman Lakeisha Jackson joined the conversation Wednesday night, seeing ways the council can be present and bring more resources to help change the narrative of gun violence.
I think sometimes we like to do this, point fingers. What we have going on now, and it's not too isolated now. It used to be, it's not at my doorstep. It's not over here. We can look the other way. It's everywhere. It's Carmel. It's Speedway. It's Southport. So now what we have to do is collectively, how do we come together? What strategies, long-term and short-term, are we going to use? And we have to be intentional about it.
We want those who are here locally to understand that we're working to train young men and young women in de-escalation tactics, as well as looking at how we can step back and resolve conflict in a better and more calm way.
Working for you, I'm Amber Grigley, WRTV.
We expect to learn more in the coming days about the tragedy in Uvalde, Texas, especially about the victims and as their families share memories of their lives cut short. You can find the latest updates and a gallery of the victims in our story on our website, WRTV.com.
Time now for your Storm Team forecast. Here with Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory in the Tracking Center. And this was the day that we had the rain that we had to get through, but it's still a warm night out there.
Temperatures aren't going to change much through the overnight. It'll be warm when you wake up. We had thunderstorms, some severe during the evening hours. I'll show you a few storm reports here in a second. An isolated thunderstorm still possible as we go through the overnight. Here are the storm reports. Basically wind damage as you go to the north. There were about 1,000 power outages west of Kokomo as well. All is calm right now. Central Indiana is dry. Again, we may see some isolated showers or thunderstorms in the overnight hours. Mark mentioned it's warm. It's 70. That wind out of the south at 13. This is what we wake up to, 7 a.m. This is 1 a.m. actually. We put that in motion to 7 a.m. and these are the hit and miss, isolated showers and rumbles of thunder. Your probability of rain through the day tomorrow lingers all day long. Temperatures will not be as warm as today's 83-degree high temperature. We'll stay in the 70s for highs. In mid-morning, temperatures will be around 70. Still see some 20-mile-per-hour gusts with these scattered showers and thunderstorms. Magic number tomorrow afternoon, 75 degrees, a low risk of severe storms, a higher risk of severe storms over into the Buckeye State as we begin to think about moving this weather system out. We'll talk about the dramatic changes that arrived just in time for the weekend coming up.
We'll see you in a few minutes, Kevin. Thank you. A $60 million project is now underway to better connect some of Indy's underrepresented neighborhoods to nearby trails and greenways. It's called the Connected Communities Initiative, and it's been 7 years in the making. Connected Communities is focusing on equity. The Central Indiana Community Foundation partnered with the city to fill the gaps in our pedestrian and bicycle infrastructure. They looked for areas where there was potential for more walkability, bikeability, and a need for easier access to public transit. The initiative zeroes in on neighborhoods like Martindale, Brightwood, Hallville, and Fairfax, communities near an existing trail.
The goal is about where can we make the most important connections where there were gaps. So like a half a mile connecting to the Monon from the Martindale Brightwood neighborhood, that half mile might be more important than 4 miles somewhere else. So we looked at it from a lot of different angles, a lot of different lenses, but equity and really serving underserved and underappreciated neighborhoods was the top criteria.
For more details about the Connected Communities Initiative, including what trails will be extended and which streets will be getting safety improvements, find this article on WRTV.com. Tonight, an Indianapolis teenager is recovering after a shooting in his neighborhood Tuesday.
And now there's a push to keep teens safe this summer.
Still to come tonight, a community center stepping up with a concrete plan to get kids invested in their own growth and their own neighborhood.
Also ahead, a new warning from the CDC as another case of monkeypox shows up in the U.S. And this warning is geared toward travelers.
From Indy's streaming news leader, this is WRTV News at 11, streaming now.
Butler Tarkington residents say a shooting in their neighborhood Tuesday highlights the need to make sure teens are not involved in gun violence this summer. A 17-year-old boy is recovering tonight after he was shot last night on the 3900 block of North Illinois Street. The shooting happened near the MLK Center. Staffers there work to give teens an opportunity to boost their quality of life in the Butler Tarkington area. Right now, the center is rolling out its new middle school program, focusing on academics and community involvement.
Get to participate in literacy so we can make sure they're reading at grade level, but also they will be taking care of Tarkington Park, doing landscaping, trash pickup, working with the city, working with IMPD to take care of our neighborhood.
The MLK Center has several programs aimed at youth. You can learn more about them by clicking on this story at WRTV.com.
Reality TV star Josh Duggar has been sentenced to more than 12 years in federal prison on child pornography charges. The former star of TLC's 19 Kids and Counting was found guilty by an Arkansas jury in December, even after his release from prison. Duggar will be under close supervision for 20 years and will not be allowed to be left alone with minors, including his own children. The Duggar family's reality TV series was canceled in 2015 following revelations that Josh had molested 4 of his sisters as a teen. Prosecutors had pushed for an even longer prison sentence. Duggar continues to maintain his innocence and plans to appeal his conviction. The Southern Baptist Convention is the second largest religious denomination in the United States, and now its hotline for victims to report abuse is active. It's part of the SBC's response to a report on sex abuse allegations against leaders released this week. The independent investigation found top leaders of the SBC silenced abuse survivors for 20 years and suppressed attempts at reform that could have made a difference. The tip line will inform victims of their available options for care and put them in touch with an advocate.
A new study finds that COVID-19 vaccine seems to provide some protection against long COVID. Researchers in St. Louis looked at 12 million records in the Veterans Affairs National Healthcare Database. Specifically, they studied cases of breakthrough infections with symptoms lingering for at least 6 months. Those were compared with unvaccinated COVID-19 cases and those who didn't get the virus. The study found that vaccinated people were less likely to have COVID symptoms 6 months after their initial infection. It also found that those who got the Johnson & Johnson vaccine were more at risk for long COVID than those who got the Pfizer or Moderna vaccines. 2 monkeypox cases have been confirmed in Utah. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says this means there's at least 3 patients in the U.S. with the disease. The other case was reported in Massachusetts. Several states, including Florida, New York, Washington, and California, also have suspected cases. The World Health Organization says more than 250 people in at least 16 countries have monkeypox. The CDC has now issued a travel alert advising all travelers to avoid close contact with sick people and wild animals. The agency says the risk to the public is low, but people should be aware of any unexplained rashes. The Scripps National Spelling Bee begins next week. 7 students from the Hoosier State will make it to the national stage.
And I've been checking in with 4 spellers from Central Indiana, including Abram Polly. The 14-year-old from Martinsville has been competing in spelling bee since he was in 1st grade. He won this year's regional bee at IU Bloomington.
It's not something everyone gets to do. Now that I'm actually going, it's a lot of pressure.
We're just really excited as a family to go and cheer him on and just enjoy Washington, D.C.
This year, the competition is back fully in person for the first time since 2019. Spellers from across the country will be in Maryland for several rounds of competition. The semifinals and finals rounds will be aired exclusively on ION and Bounce, which are free Scripps TV stations. Scripps is the parent company of WRTV. So over the next few days, I'll introduce you to the other Central Indiana students in the competition. And one thing I'm asking all of them is the word that earned them the trip to the National Spelling Bee. And Abrams, you can see it. It's hubris. Did you look?
No, I didn't.
Okay. How do you spell it?
Wait. You have to say it again.
Hubris.
Hubris. You know.
No, make him spell it.
Hubris.
Mark's moving on. Good
Hubris.
He had,
it's back there.
You had no idea. I had spell check already. I thought about, misspelling it, so, to throw you off, but it wouldn't have worked. Okay, temperature tomorrow, not 83 like it was today. We'll be in the 70s. Temperature on Friday, lucky to hit 70. Friday is a turning point. We're going to turn this around, get out of our daily chance for rain, and watch this significant sustained warm-up that will carry us not just to Memorial Day, but into the middle of next week. It's kind of a breakout stretch that's coming our way. During the day tomorrow, periods of showers and thunderstorms, not as warm as I mentioned, and the risk for any severe storms on the low side, a little higher risk, will be over the Buckeye State. First thing in the morning, we showed you a couple scattered showers and thunder showers. Mid-morning becomes more widespread. Then the early afternoon, some lighter showers. We'll see kind of more widespread showers, thunderstorms 4 to 7, and then a little lull after that. And the showers that we have on Friday will be kind of the end of the line for the weather system. Temperatures during the day tomorrow kept down by the rain, especially across portions of central Indiana. As you look at Friday, our rain chances much lower, but they're there through the day. And then as it spikes a little bit late in the afternoon into the evening, that's kind of the back edge of the whole weather system that will spin around low pressure and make its move to the east. Temperatures obviously cooler. These are the coolest actually in the entire 7-day forecast. Just want to show you, and I'll let this play out. This is 7 a.m. on Friday morning. See the showers back to the west. Now see this spiral? That rotating area of low pressure will move to the east, and that will pull away the showers from central Indiana, open the door to progressively warmer temperatures and dry conditions. Temperature on Saturday, 75 degrees, great day for a parade, mixture of clouds and sunshine, and then we build the momentum. 83 degrees, race day. You'll need sunscreen. Of course, we'll be on the air starting at 6 a.m. on WRTV. 89 Memorial Day, that summer warmth just getting started as temperatures will hit 90 or above. It looks like as we get to Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. 7-day forecast. Our rain chances, as we mentioned, still with us next 48 hours. Then we get excited about a stretch that will have dry and warm conditions. Overnight temperatures will start to come back up into the upper 60s, and these afternoon high temperatures will be right around 90 degrees Memorial Day, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We'll settle back toward average temperatures June 2nd through the 8th. As the warmest temperatures, it looks like, get pushed to the south and east, and temperatures typically this time of the year in the mid-70s, 11:23. We'll be back right after this.
Walmart is pulling pints of its Juneteenth themed ice cream after receiving heavy backlash online. The retail giant sold the Juneteenth ice cream under its Great Value brand. The holiday commemorates the formal end of slavery in the U.S. Many social media users say the red velvet and cheesecake flavored ice cream was done in poor taste. They also criticized the company for trying to capitalize on the holiday and its history. Walmart has apologized. You may have seen several trailers parked outside of Castleton Square Mall recently. It's part of a national effort to collect data on the health and nutritional status of Americans. The survey runs through the national Health for Health statistics, and it aims to get a better understanding of health. The Marion County Health Department says the information can help drive public health efforts here at home. Participation is voluntary for those who qualify.
Kind of put the ball in your court and let you kind of choose what you want to do, and any part of it that you choose to participate in, we're grateful for it, and we thank you, and we're looking for Marion County to kind of help us put the puzzle together so that we have a complete picture of the nation's health.
Staff members are knocking on doors and trying to talk to people who may be eligible to participate. Indianapolis has been selected as one of 15 cities nationwide to provide data.
IndyCar driver Tony Kanaan is encouraging all veterans to be the one to help end a silence that kills. The 2013 Indy 500 champ visited American Legion Post 64 today. He posed with the #1 car that he will drive on race day. It's sponsored by the American Legion, and it is covered with the words, "Be the one." That's the tagline for an awareness campaign that will launch this Memorial Day weekend. Be the One aims to end veteran suicide and reduce the stigma behind asking for help.
17 veterans take their lives every day because they don't want to ask for help. And obviously they're the ones that protect us. They always helped us. And we've been trying to send a message that be the one to ask for help. And hopefully, with this beautiful car and this beautiful weekend, with the #1, we'll be able to win the race and also save a lot of lives.
The American Legion says if you or someone you know is a veteran dealing with mental health issues, contact the Indiana Department of Veterans Affairs for help in finding resources. We'll be right back. Well, finally tonight, we want to say thank you to the 5th graders of Triton Central Middle School in Shelby County.
They conducted an experiment on kindness earlier this month. Last week, we shared with you what they learned, and today we received all of these papers, these thank you notes for spreading their message and their lesson.
Yeah, the 5th graders told us they learned that Kindness doesn't cost anything, and it takes many forms, including all these sweet messages that is shared with the WRTV newsroom.
This put a smile on so many people's faces
Oh,
today.
yeah.
So thank you for sending these to us.
Great to see.
Emma says, I hope this goes on next year.
Oh,
I love that. Yes.
I think it will. Hopefully kindness goes on forever. Temperatures tomorrow, around 70 degrees mid-morning, showers, thunderstorms throughout the day, on and off, not a constant rain. Dry for the weekend, though.
And be kind.
And be kind. I love it. Have a good night.